Hi there guys, and welcome to Train Simulator 2017 again. Today we are in the wonderful Armstrong Powerhouse Class 43 enhancement pack version, which is beautiful. We're in Great Western Green. This is the first time I have driven this livery, and I like it. So you can tell there's been quite a lot of effort been put into this pack. This is just a quick drive. The scenarios, I haven't had to play with them yet, but I will get round to doing it. I'm going to use ATP in this one, so we should really turn that on. So that's with Control and P to turn that on. We'll talk a little bit about ATP while we're driving, that sort of thing. Let's put DSD on, let's try and be as realistic as possible. Okay, so we've got tail lights on the front here, which we do not need. We want marker lights and headlights on the right hand side. Let's quickly run to our rear cab and make sure we have ETS on and that the two tail lights are there. Excellent. So ETS is electric train supply. That's what gives power to the coaches and everything like that. Carriage lighting. I still haven't had a chance to have a fiddle with my graphics settings yet, so it might not look as good as usual. I do apologise, but I will tweak it and get it running as we were, more than anything. So, master key in, forward. It's engine only. So that's the ATP doing its self-test. So we acknowledge the guard's signal. We have a 25 limit, so as you can see it matches what's on the screen there. Oh. So I'd forgotten I even had the Arriva Trains Wales pack. One thing I'm really looking forward to with ATPs, I think it will help to a point with route learning. When I say help, it'll make it a bit easier. It'll make me a bit lazy because it'll always tell me what's coming up and stuff like that. So you can see where the green light is there. So when we get to 40, you'll hear this make a bong noise and climb up to 40 and then 60. So it's got the 60. Oh, sorry, it's a bit laggy around here. My settings definitely need tweaking. Scenery popping in and out all over the place as well. Okay. Anyway, the train's performing faultlessly. And just like the NMT one, it feels like I've got a train behind me. It feels powerful, it feels heavy. And this is a 1 in 75 gradient, we're holding speed in notch 3. Just as I say that, we start to lose speed though, so we're going to notch 4. So you see, we've now got the line speed up to 75, but literally in a mile we're going to be back down to 60, so I'll go over a bit, but I'll just let it pull what it can do from notch 4 really. Got 50 coming up and we're on a down gradient. So ATP. ATP stands for automatic train protection. And basically what it does is it gives you sort of a fallback basically. It means that if the driver doesn't brake, the train will. It can be overridden to a point. So AWS, like we've got here, it's a dumb system, and I don't mean that as in it's stupid. I mean that actually the system itself isn't a smart system. It doesn't know anything apart from what it's told, and that is by magnets. So if you go past a double yellow and you get an AWS alert, you cancel your AWS alert and off you trot. But you know you've been through a danger signal or a cautionary signal, preliminary caution, because you'll have the sunflower. Now, if you go through the single yellow, so caution, and you cancel it, you get a sunflower. And then you're coming up to your next signal and you go, oh, was that last signal a double yellow or a single yellow? You can't tell. So the driver could still hit that red, press that, and continue through it. There is TPWS these days and things. Cool. That's making a fair old racket, isn't it? So AWS, yes, does what it needs to do, but it's not foolproof at all. Nor's ATP, but it is a little bit more complex. So what ATP does is, in this little box here, behind there is a little panel, and you can input the train's weight, its maximum speed, its braking force, and lots of other different parameters. So basically what that means is the computer can work out how far in advance you need to brake to match speed signals to speed limits, to how much you have to... what's going on here? How much acceleration, how fast it can accelerate, how it can decelerate. So it knows about braking points and speed curves. So if you think of speed curves as a graph, there's a curve that there's a final point in which the train, with the full service braking, can stop by a certain point. And in the track with ATP routes, there are little balizes, which are like little aerials, basically, or antennas that are in the track, and there's a receiver. Oh, I'm already speeding. There's a receiver underneath the front bogie. So when the train goes over a balize, it sends up some data to say, right, the next signal is at da 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 da. So you need to be doing this speed, or there is a speed restriction coming up, so you need to be braking now. Are you braking? The thing ATP can't do is it isn't a continuous system like ERTMS, which is the European Rail Traffic Management System. So it only gets information when it goes over balize. So in between antennas in the track, the balizes, it doesn't know anything different. So if the signal changed, for instance, it wouldn't know until it got to that signal. So it can do advisory things. So it will tell you, hang on a second, you need to be braking now. So say we went over speed. Let's do it with this. Let's show you. So like I've often said, there's a plus or minus on speedo readings of about 2 to 3 miles an hour. ATP kicks off at 3. It's going to go up to 75. We're going to go down to 75, sorry. So us at 7 tunnel. So we'll do a little bit of speed in the tunnel and I'll show you what it does. So by the time I get to 78 mile an hour, it will warn me you're going over speed. Train some kindly warns you too early. we go. So if I can now reduce my speed. If it sees I'm doing an adequate amount, it will shut up. If it doesn't, it thinks, oh no, driver's not paying any attention, and he is actually going over, and he's not reducing any braking at all. There we go. Let's dump the brakes. Ooh, cab light. I just want to see what it looked like in the tunnel. So it should be the brakes coming off now. So you see, it brakes you to under the speed you need to go. So imagine you were coming up to, say, a red signal. The track would send the data up to the train and say, you know, next signal's red, mate. Make sure you're slowing down. So if AWS, it sends it up saying, yeah, it's a danger signal, it's cautionary, it's red, whatever. The driver goes, ah well, and carries on. Makes no difference, train doesn't know any different. ATP will put the brakes on. It will stop the train. Right, that's in the middle and now on the climb. So there's a few reasons why ATP only stayed on the Western routes. Basically, there was 2 trials done in the early 90s. One on the Great Western Main Line and one on the Chiltern lines, and they were testing, in theory, 2 different systems. So there were 2 different types of track belees. There was like a solid one that looks a bit like an AWS, like a bit like a TPWS grid really, or a sits in the centre of track, or a silver AWS ramp, sits in the middle of the track, solid thing. The other version was on the Chiltern Main Line, or the Chiltern lines, and that consisted of a wire aerial, a wire antenna. As far as I'm aware, I think they all went solid in the end. I don't know if there still is the wire ones on the Chiltern line, but there's a few problems with ATP. It is used around the world. There are quite a few places that I think do use it, if I'm honest. I haven't got a list of those up just now, but we'll find them. Wagon sounds are very loud in this cab, I've noticed. Where was I? Faults with ATP. Okay, date entry. So drivers have to log on, they pull a little thing down and put the little bit in. I don't know who actually put the date in for the train. I'm guessing drivers would have had to at some point. Now all it would take would be for a driver to put in the wrong brake force, either more brake force than it actually has or less, and less would cause you delays, and more could mean that you actually crash. So it's not totally fail-safe. You could quite easily get it wrong and still cause a crash. And if you think if they fitted it all to like freight trains, that's a pretty funny amount in it. So it's a lot to be fiddling with, a lot to be entering data into. So as much as it works, there are certain things it can't really do. Well, it has to be set up correctly. Like any computer, it has to be told what to do correctly. So it will work exactly how it's designed to, as long as it's been told what to do correctly. Britain went for TPWS, which is Train Protection and Warning System. So that just basically consists of these little boxes here. So all trains now have to have this. And that basically means you're not going to run a red. If you run a red or you approach a red at too fast a speed, regardless of braking curves or anything, it doesn't need to know that. It just basically is put at a set distance signal that means that most trains, when they hit it, the brakes will come on. Whether they stop before the signal or not, it isn't always the case. Wootton Bassett, TPWS was overridden, train crossed over, didn't it? Isolated, the brake was isolated. It should stop you at the signal, but not always. So that's a lot cheaper. That's not a Belize every time there is something. It's just literally one in certain hotspots. So there isn't TPWS in front of every signal, only at certain points. And that's basically down to cost. It was cheaper. So the next version after that, which has been tested in the UK just now, the Hertford Loop, it's the Cumbrian Coast as well, is ERTMS, which is European Rail Traffic Management System, I think it is. Or scheme even, I can't remember. Like the actual part of it that does the control of the train and the signalling is ETC, European Train Control System. The system's been developed across Europe and installed on a few routes in countries. I don't think any country's fully using it. I'm not sure. But yeah, the trial version's on the Cumbrian Coast route. I think with ERTMS you can have like moving blocks and all sorts of things, which is quite nice and handy if you're running a railway, because you can squeeze more capacity out. You can run trains closer together, the more you can fit on. .75 limit coming up. 75. Then down to 40. Oh, I'm getting horrible frame rates. I don't know what's different. I've really got to go through and sort my settings. So I'm actually going to stop this run at Newport. So we're going to bring ourselves down to a stop here. And I shall go and do some setting fiddling before my next video. I'm massively enjoying this. I only came to do the somewhere on the western lines for a bit of using the ATP in a slightly more prototypical situation. Prototypical situation. So next one will be a blast on the East Coast Main Line. What part of it I don't know yet. I haven't reinstalled the Creative Rails bit, but I will do. If I can deal with the green track. We'll have a look anyway, I'll see. Another noisy freight. I've seen the 158, I've seen an HST, I've seen a 143. I haven't seen a 175 yet. Maybe I haven't, just not noticed it. Is there an HST stop board further up here? Yeah. Just stop it here. Alright then guys, thank you ever so much. I will have another video up very shortly with the HST. I'm probably going to overdo it and bore you all to death with it for a little bit, but I'm loving it, so therefore it's what I'm going to be doing. So thanks again for watching. Again, feel free to like, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys soon.